This is Mike Benedetti. I'm here at the White House. We are here for another day of our 100 days to close Guantanamo and end torture. This week and maybe for the next few weeks we're focusing on the cases of the Uighur detainees who should probably be released immediately. And Carmen Trotta has been the one here talking to the crowds, handing out the leaflets. Carmen, how are things going today?
Every day, it strikes me as unusual. Every day is quite different. Most days, I should say, the people who seem to be coming from the Eisenhower building right next to the White House, who I suppose are government office workers of some sort, they are extraordinarily cool. And it could be the case that they've seen one too many demonstrations in their time in front of the White House and don't care to be bothered. Fascinating. It's also interesting that a lot of American people are very chary of accepting a leaflet and are almost shy or don't want to be approached, and that's unusual. There was a pro-life demonstration here a couple of days ago, and what was very interesting is while they were, those students, most of them were quite young people that the church apparently had mobilized, and because they themselves were doing something political and were speaking out in a public way, it seems like they almost felt obliged to take a leaflet and perhaps listen along a little. So I thought that that was good political education. Fascinating are the foreigners, and you get an enormous number of foreigners who come to see the White House. Because it was Chinese New Year, I believe, we've had an extraordinary number of Chinese, and as it turns out, we're speaking about the plight of the Uighurs, the 17 men, many of whom remain in solitary confinement, who've been ordered, federal court ordered to come to the United States, stayed by the Bush administration appeal. All the Obama administration would have to do is drop that appeal and they could be released into the United States. There's a supportive community of Uighurs here in the Washington, D.C. area that would have them in. But the Chinese that we have seen who come to the White House really don't want to hear that their own nation tortures. They have great difficulty accepting that when we try and the reason that they can't be returned to Guantanamo, the Uighurs, is that they are subject to persecution, even execution in China. And they are it's very difficult for them to hear that. And it strikes me as a sort of reflection of how difficult it is for Americans to hear that their country tortures, and how easy it is to deny that, or how psychologically easy or comforting it is to deny that.
What do you think people's reaction has been to such a sort of an obscure angle on this issue? I mean, the word Uighurs, nobody has any idea what that is in this country.
Well, it's one of the reasons that we put back up, we had people earlier anyway, carrying around shut down Guantanamo signs, and I do think it's obscure for people. However, if we are to grow as a democracy, people really do need to become more politically literate and articulate, and so when people see a concern like that, it would make sense. Or the whole issue of Guantanamo, people do need to read up on it. If you don't read up on it, you actually really get the right-wing spin on everything because of our corporate-dominated media. So the majority of Americans actually think that the prisoners at Guantanamo probably did something that they deserve being there for. When in fact, and we know it with fair certainty since 2006, the majority of the prisoners at Guantanamo are guilty of absolutely nothing. I'm not saying that there aren't terrorists there are, but they are very few, a very small part of that population. So again, I do think it would be nice for people to become, as I said, a little more knowledgeable and articulate as regards political matter and the health of our democracy, and I do think that's possible.
I think that this is probably part of it.
I hope so.
All right, thanks so much.